Hey everyone, Emily here and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a recipe that I keep seeing online everywhere. I've seen this all over Instagram, all over TikTok, and it's a super easy 3-ingredient cake pop recipe. The twist is, instead of using cake, you're going to use these soft frosted sugar cookies that you get at the grocery store. It looks really easy and it should be a really quick recipe as well. So let's get started and see how these turn out. The first step is to add our cookies straight into a bowl. We're gonna blend those up to create a fine crumb so we can get started on our cake pop dough. Once you have your cookies in the bowl, give this a blend. Everyone else was using a stand mixer for this that I saw online. I don't have one. I'm using a hand mixer. I'm gonna go ahead and switch bowls because I'm getting a little bit of spillage with this. Things are just kind of flying everywhere. So stand by, we're gonna switch bowls and try it again. All right, we have a bigger bowl, so let's try this again. The bigger bowl with higher sides is definitely doing a lot better. I still have a couple little casualties, some spillage coming out the side. It's just something to keep in mind, especially if you're gonna be using a hand mixer as opposed to a stand mixer. But just keep going, blending on a low speed until you have pretty fine crumbs. If you don't have a mixer, you can probably do this by hand. My cookies are all crumbled up. There are still a couple of larger chunks, not huge, but I have a feeling that once I add in the cream cheese, everything is gonna kind of break up a little bit more anyway, and probably be a lot easier to manage with the mixer. So I'm going to add to my 1 package of soft sugar cookies, half of an 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Make sure your cream cheese is on the softer side, so take it out of the fridge a little bit early ahead of time before you're making this. This will let everything blend up really easily. I started out on a pretty low speed and I'm progressing up to about a medium speed to make sure that everything's really well combined before we start forming our cake pops. All right, this is what it should look like when it's all blended up and ready to be formed into our cake pops. I'm going to get out a parchment lined baking sheet so we have somewhere to place those because those are going to need to chill in the fridge for a little bit once they're done. So with clean hands, take small scoops of your dough and roll those into balls. You want them to be probably about 1 inch in size, whatever you think is going to be good for a cake pop. And then place those on your baking sheet. We'll keep on going, and once we have all of the dough taken care of, we're gonna pop those in the fridge so they can set up a little bit. Usually when you make cake pops, you use a combination of crumbled up cake and frosting. With this, we have those cookies and the cream cheese together. The dough is behaving exactly the same, and I think this is gonna turn out really good. I really love cream cheese frosting, so I'm curious to see what this flavor combination tastes like. I think it's gonna be really good. If you're picky about the color, make sure you keep in mind the color of the frosting when you're picking out your cookies, because as you can see, it's going to be pretty similar to the inside of your cake pops at the end. This kind of blue-green shade should be really fun, very summery. I do have some yellow chocolate melts to dip this into or to drizzle on top later, and I think that's going to be a really pretty color combination. All right, these are all ready to get set in the fridge. I'm going to pop them in for about 10 minutes and then come back and check and see how they're doing. They're definitely very soft, and we need these to firm up a little bit before we can start making these into cake pops and dipping them in chocolate. So we'll leave them to sit for a little while. I'll let you know how long it takes, and I'll see you back here in a bit to finish these up. All right, I've had these in for about 12 minutes and they firmed up quite a bit. They're cool to the touch, and that's going to help as we dip this into our melted chocolate. So let's get started decorating these. So I have some white chocolate melted down here. It's no longer very warm, but it is still melted. We're going to start by dipping our cake pop sticks into that and then placing them into our cake pops. This is going to kind of anchor everything together and help the stick stay in the pop as we dip it into the chocolate. Now that we have our sticks into our cake pops, they're ready to be decorated. I have my melted white chocolate here. Keep in mind, you don't want it to be too warm, so let that melt down and then come back to about room temperature. I also have a little baggie of yellow chocolate melts for a little drizzle, and I'm going to decorate with some sprinkles. So let's get started. So you'll go ahead and give your cake pop a dip and swirl into that white chocolate. Let any extra drip back in. And then over a plate, I'm going to add on my sprinkles. Maybe I'll switch to over a bowl. All right, let's try this with a little bit more of a bowl situation. So dip, swirl, let the extra chocolate come off, and then sprinkle on our sprinkles. Yeah, that's working much better. And then place that onto the baking sheet, and that can just chill out and everything will start to solidify, and we're gonna pop those in the fridge once they're all decorated. All right, I have 5 done and 8 to go. I did have one casualty. My cake pops are starting to come off of the stick, so that means they're getting a little bit too warm. I'm going to put these back in the fridge for a little bit, let them set back up, and get back to dipping and decorating. All right, and that's the last one. These look so cute. One thing to note though, I'm placing mine back on the baking sheet to firm back up and cool. If you don't want yours to have a flat top, that's what's gonna happen to mine. Don't set them this way. Put them into a glass upright, or you can stick them into a piece of styrofoam. That's going to let them keep their shape. I don't mind this shape, and it's a lot easier to do, so that's what I'm doing. But if you're a little bit picky about that, I wouldn't go this route. So these are all done. I'm going to set them back in the fridge, let that chocolate firm up, and we'll give these a taste. All right, here they are. They turned out so cute. Let's take a closer look at these. You can see what I'm talking about here with that flat bottom if you let them set on the baking sheet. That's absolutely no big deal, especially if you plan to serve them on a plate. It actually works out really well. Easy fix though, if you'd rather have them look a little bit more like lollipops, just let them set up a little bit differently. All right, let's give these a taste and see how they turned out. These are so good. I would absolutely make these again. They have a little bit of different flavor than a traditional cake pop. You can taste that it's made with those really soft grocery store cookies. I don't know if you'd be able to pinpoint the flavor if you didn't know what was in it, but it's just a little bit different than a traditional cake pop. Super good. The cream cheese goes really well with this also. It kind of takes out a little bit of that extreme sweetness that those cookies can have. Don't get me wrong though, they are still really sweet. In my opinion, these were a little bit easier to make than traditional cake pops as well, so I would absolutely do this again. I'm going to go ahead and link the original creator's video, or at least the one that I saw first, down in the description box below. You can also find the full recipe there. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a like and leave a comment, and don't forget to hit subscribe. If there are any recipes that you've been seeing on the internet that you want me to give a try, leave it in the comments down below, and I'll see you back here next time.